So I got this PC on Facebook Marketplace. The guy did not know what was wrong with it. They attempted to disassemble some of it, and they tried to self-diagnose it, but they admitted that they didn't really know what they were doing. They just couldn't figure out any of the what the issue was, because it goes to BIOS, or BIOS. It boots to BIOS, but it does not boot into Windows. So I offered to buy it, and I'm going to do a complete disassembly, clean everything up like new, and then do a board test where I'm going to reassemble it, but I'm not going to reassemble it in the case, and attempt to resolve the issue myself. I ended up getting this thing blowing out a little bit with my air blower I got. It's got a good power supply. The case needs cleaning. It still has a lot of gunk in there. I don't know what the hell some of this residue is. I've never seen a case this filthy before. But yeah, I'm just gonna complete disassembly and then clean it all up like new. Here's the update so far. I cleaned these. I still have to clean all this stuff. I still gotta go through and clean all this stuff. All of it. This thing is filthy. Alright, so what I discovered was this is the first time I had to come do a complete disassembly on the case and actually bring it out and spray it down. I air blew it out, especially in the ports down here, to make sure there's no water in it. I have it upside down so until it dries. But this is literally the first time that I've had to do this, and there was a big reason why. You seen how dirty it was. Maybe you didn't see as dirty as it was, but it turned out that this PC was overran with cockroaches. Disgusting. It had a whole bunch of them in there. So yeah, that's one of the issues this PC had. It made me not want to deal with it anymore. It made me want to just part this thing out, but I'm gonna clean it out and still try to board test. You can see the GPU's never been opened before. The reason why I'm trying to open it is because look at all that trash in there. That's how the whole PC case looked. Just fucking roach filth. This is nasty. But I'm gonna disassemble the GPU and do it right. Even as bad as I don't want to, I'm just gonna have to. Here we go, continuing from yesterday. There were some bent pins, you can kind of see. I had to go in here and straighten some of them out. I used my screwdriver with that nice pointy end there to kind of get the best I could. My wife had to go in behind me because she has, I guess, a better touch than I do, and she got it more straight than I did, but it still worked out. That's the best we can get, but everywhere you can kind of see it was a nightmare when I took the CPU off. It was the same here. I had to straighten out some of these as best as I could, but I cleaned everything like new, like everything. You can see it as it comes together, but everything's nice and clean. I'm gonna board test it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the what I need on the motherboard, just to board test it and see if we can boot into Windows. So here's the back of the processor. Everything's good. It's an i7 8700K. If we can get that to pop in here. Oh, come on. It's like a light and shadows game, but you can see it right there. There we go. Bam. So I'm not even gonna install a GPU. I'm gonna run it with just one stick of RAM, the CPU, the SSD, because it's got the CPU because it's got integrated graphics. Put the cooler on it. Oh yeah, put a new battery on it. Then we're gonna get going. Oh, the baby. There you go. CPU installed. Let's get at least one of those sticks of RAMs in there, and then I gotta get the SSD out, and then a new battery. We're putting a new BIOS or a new CMOS battery. The crazy part is this is the SSD it came with, and they never had a heat sink on it. There's something on there. I gotta clean it off. But yeah, I cleaned this too as well with the cotton ball and some alcohol. That's probably what that is. Let me get that real quick. Yeah, that's just from the cotton ball. But that's what I'm gonna do next is or we're gonna install this the same way. Eventually, I'm gonna end up doing a heat sink if everything works out with this build. If not, I'm gonna part it out and just part it out and keep the case probably for another build. But let's see where this goes. So here's the RAM, RGB, 3200 C16, and I believe this is a 16 gigabyte kit, so 8 gigabyte times 2. So that's what we're running. I'm gonna stick one in though. 8 gigabytes should be enough. I saw the GPU came out. Yeah, if you seen yesterday, that thing was nasty as hell. And I made this thing look nice and smooth and clean as best I could. Same thing with the power supply, all the filters. There's all the wiring. There's the rest of the fans. Everything looking good. That's the back plate for the IO or the AIO. And yeah, let's get going. I might just put in both sticks around. Fuck it, just because. Might as well. I mean, I'm already getting there. We got the standoffs with the back plate for the motherboard right there. And then I don't know. I might paste the CPU before we install the rest of it. But I still got to put the fans back on. So we'll see. We'll see. Before I forget, I better put in that new battery. Barely had enough paste left. I had enough for the CPU and I had enough for the GPU. Barely had enough left. I had to use this thing and scoop it off of here to share over there. It is what it is. Made a little bit of a mess right there on the side right here. I can clean that up later, but I ain't worried about it right now. We trying to get on with this testing. Go ahead and see the RAM first. We're getting closer. Got the M2 installed at the top slot. This is actually the faster slot for the GPU. I believe this one goes 16, 8, 4. And then these go in order, but if you only got one top slot, one GPU top slot, it does do supports slide configuration for multiple GPUs, but maybe I'm not going to be able to do that with this motherboard, depending on if it even works or not. But all I got to do is finish connecting the rest of these wires for the AIO, and then connect the power supply, and we're going to be ready to test it. Everything's ready. Just what's necessary for testing for now. See if we can get a boot into Windows. So the complaint was that the guy said it started overheating, resetting, going into BIOS constantly, and it would not go to Windows at all anymore. I wasn't surprised with the condition of the PC, but if we can actually see what's going on with BIOS, or at least boot to Windows, then we're in a better place. And something that we did besides all this in-depth cleanup maybe is the way we configured, because we put this up top when it used to be down here. We put in a new CMOS battery. We cleaned everything up. There's no GPU in it. So there's the other things that we're doing right now that they probably didn't do. We're putting the bare minimal. I could have went bare minimal and just put one RAM stick, but I didn't. I just put them both. We'll see. If anything, I have a known working RAM stick, so I can pull one out at a time and swap them around, or just get another RAM stick and see if that was ever an issue. But let's see if we even run into an issue. I have a feeling that we might not, that this might actually turn out good for us, and maybe it was some other error or a boot order on the old BIOS. Who knows? We'll find out. If we can get into BIOS though, we're going to reset everything to defaults, check the boot order, things like that. So I went ahead and just put together the GPU before I move on to testing. Way cleaner, way better. Look at that thing. RX 6600. Ain't the best, but you know what? It ain't the worst either. I have a feeling that thing's gonna run like a champ now. It's repasted and nice and cleaned up. I did put power on the motherboard and it just flashed. Let's see, there it goes. Everything looks like it's right. Let's see if we get a boot to BIOS or to Windows. I got just my mouse hooked up right now. Right now I'm getting nothing. got a red light on. A code C1 red light. And it turned right off. Huh. Oh, it turned back on by itself. Let's record that so we can see what it's doing. Keep showing 4C, C1. And then it's probably gonna shut off and restart. Yep. Alright, so it was saying C1 when I looked it up is a RAM error, a memory error. Memory's failing to initialize or something. It could be a problem on the motherboard, or it could be the RAM, I don't know, but I'm gonna swap out the RAM and let's see what happens. I just left one stick of RAM, we'll see. It looks like it likes to stay stuck at 4C and then finish at C1. Alright, let me try the test again. I'm gonna swap out the sticks and we'll see if we get a different result. Here we go again. Looks like it's gonna be the same issue. Looks like this might be bogus RAM. It is showing 62. This time we got red light staying on. Yeah, let me look that up. Actually, we removed that one stick of RAM and we're in BIOS. Or we're not in BIOS, but we're at the BIOS setup. Let's see if it goes into BIOS, because right now this PC is still kicking on and off, it looks like. So it looks like it wants to kick on and stay on, but it doesn't stay on long enough. Now it's saying AO. And here we are on Windows. So we got a bad stick of RAM for sure. I'm gonna look up that code AO. So code AO means that the handoff has been successfully made to the operating system and the system is running normally. So now we got this thing running normally, so we can try to reset it, go into BIOS and reset to optimize defaults, and now we know that we have a bad stick of RAM right there. So let's get optimized defaults in BIOS and reset, save and reset. I could go back to BIOS so that you guys can see the BIOS. But yeah, the system's no more clicking off and on, off and on. The system is booting normally. Oh wait, that's not, I don't know the password to this thing. That's right, this is someone else's info. So I gotta wipe the drive as well. I'm gonna have to take the drive, take it to my other PC, and then I'm gonna go back to BIOS so you can see. And then wipe that drive clean. And I'm probably gonna have to just do a bogus copy of Windows for now. Oh, there we go. So you can see everything running good. i7-8700K memory. You know, we only got 8 gigabytes of memory, so I mean, we running. We're running. Everything's normal. Everything looks normal on the AIO too, which that AIO is nice. This motherboard is nice as well. So now we can finish this build. I can put this build back together once I clean that drive. But now I can put the build back together knowing that this PC is on point, that it's gonna run properly. And I might just sell it as is with 8 gigabytes of RAM and just get rid of this stick since it's a bad stick and throw it away. But yeah, that's that. Here we go. We're gonna continue the build. Here's the case. It is nice and clean. So I'm gonna get the motherboard in first, of course, and then we're gonna go from there. Installed already, and then I had to reroute the wires through the back. Got the motherboard seated but not fastened yet. It's got this cool little thing here where it pops out a little bit so you can see the motherboard nice and in center. I gotta clean that up a little bit. Looks like a little bit of, from the cleaning, a little bit of cotton. Alright, then we got everything nice and fastened here. This thing's coming along good. We know it works. All we gotta do is get it back in there. I'm gonna make it more modern. I took out these SSD things. I could probably include them in a box or something, but I'm gonna make it more modern. Nobody uses those old things. At least people that are gaming, or even me. I mean, you know, I do software engineering and day trading and building PCs, and I never use those old SSDs or hard drives. I use the new M2s. So, alright, so we got the motherboard up. Nice and wired in already. The back still. Of course, we're gonna do cable management last. I got the USB plugged in. Got all the wires up here wired in. This is the CPU input for the AIO. Other than that, probably gonna do, like, make sure the motherboard, everything on the motherboard is good. I think just the SSD here, and then the graphics card maybe. I think because if we put the graphics card at the top, which we undoubtedly are, we'll still have enough room for all the inputs at the bottom. So graphics card, oh yeah, SSD, graphics card, then we'll have enough space on the bottom for my hands to plug everything in. And then we can get the power supply routed in, and then, but I want to really get these fans in because I got 3-4 more fans to put in, I believe. So we'll quick update. Got the SSD back in there. The NVMe, it's only 0.5 terabyte, but I already went ahead and I wiped it clean using the command line, and then I made Windows Media with the external USB flash drive, so that way I can install Windows 11. I'm not sure if it's going to be Windows 11 Home or Windows 11 Pro yet until I go and get the key for it. But that's what's going on with that graphics card. It's getting there. Just got to get the fans in now. Alright, so here it goes. Got all of it pretty much wired up. Put the fans in. Exhaust fan, intake fans, AIO, and then we got the filters on. The filter on the bottom with the power supply. Oh yeah. Got everything wired up. We just gotta do some cable management. I'm not gonna use any of the hubs it came with to power the, because it came with the hub to power all the fans when they have RGB, and none of the fans have RGB except one. So I'm just gonna connect them. I'm gonna daisy chain them and connect them to the motherboard, and that's it. So everything's pretty much wired up. I'm likely gonna have to use this hub, this control hub for case fan and RGB lighting, only because the exhaust fan happens to have a damn input that only goes to the hub. It's like a clip, and it clips in right here on this side. Kind of weird. Never seen that before, so it's kind of like forcing me to use that, but that's fine. I could use that, and then I guess run all the fans through the power supply rather than the motherboard. I like running my fans and my LEDs through the motherboard because I like giving the motherboard and the software through the motherboard full control rather than anything else. So we're about done. We got everything connected. We did have to use the hub, so I just daisy chained these 3 fans here and routed them to the hub on fan 1. And I connected the RGB plug for the for this fan here, the rear fan, the exhaust fan, and then I connect the exhaust fan here on plug 2 for the fan 2. And then here's my jumble of mess here. I still got to square up a little bit. but I did have to use a lot of the original equipment it came with, because they use Molec to power that thing, the hub and everything. So I had to connect the Molec back and use some of the SATA watt connectors, 2 separate SATA connectors. So yeah, I had to put a lot of it back in. I just not gonna put the LED strips back in. So the LED strips were right here. They kind of, this one got ruined, it doesn't stick anymore. And then there's still this one, but I feel like, what's the point? Those strips are just, yeah, I think those strips are whack. I could put it in the box, maybe someone could use it. I never used this. I didn't have to use it. There was no point using it on this build. Didn't have to. Had a good plug on it. You just plug it right into the front panel. You didn't need that. But yeah, everything else looks okay. I didn't use some of these daisy chains. I don't know why they used 3 different daisy chains. All they needed was 1. But yeah, that was it. I'm gonna get everything else back together with the panels, get the wiring done, and then we're gonna take this puppy for a test drive. So I did some more cable management. This is likely the best it's gonna get, which is pretty clean. I just gotta put the panels back on, and then yeah, get the case back together, and it's gonna be ready to go. Ready to power on and set up. Here it is, looking finished. It sucks because the back panel got stained here. I'm gonna try to see if I can clean that up a little better. And then here's the front panel. So I'll try to turn at an angle to the front panel, but the thing that sucks is these wires show here. So let me see if I can fix glass on. I had to get some screws with some washers at the hardware store, because NZXT does not manufacture the case anymore, so they don't have any thumb screws for it anymore. I still gotta try to clean this up back here a little more, and there it is. All I gotta do is install Windows, run some tests, some maybe a game or 2, and post it online. But I already know what benchmark I want to run. I'll be running the usual benchmark. Well, when we did our best, and this is the outcome. Made it a little lighter, a little cleaner. But it is ready. It is ready to put Windows on it, benchmark it, maybe play a game on it. So this motherboard ended up being shot out. The GPU slots don't work. So I'm gonna take it out and get rid of it. And I got this other build right here. I tested both graphics cards, they all work. But this build has a Intel i5 10th gen with a MSI motherboard, and I'm gonna take the best of the 2 and combine them into one. Make one build instead of 2. So here we are with another video of 2 PCs getting combined. It is gutted out again. I was able to salvage the SSD, of course the brand new battery. I'm gonna use the case. I was able to salvage the processor, a stick of RAM, and a GPU from the other build that I'm gonna sell online to try to make some of the money back invested. And we're taking all this stuff out and we're gonna use it. So here we go, another round with this PC. Hopefully we can get something working here. The other PC has Windows 10 on it, which is interesting. I'm gonna leave it on there. I'm gonna try to clone it over to this bigger SSD, because the other SSD is 100 gigabytes, which is a shame. This one's 500 at least, and I'm gonna try to clone it over, and then remove the 100 gigabyte, clean it, and then you know, make sure it boots from the big drive, and then, you know, I don't know what to do with that other one. 100 gigabytes is nothing these days. So yeah, here's the other PC that had the RTX 2060 in it, 16 gigs of RAM, an i5 10th gen, and that bogus 100 gigabyte SSD that we're gonna ditch. We're gonna ditch this Thermaltake PSU because we're gonna use the EVGA, the nice one in there. You can see this case was not modern at all. It sucks. I was trying to debate whether to keep the RTX 2060 in it or go with the RX 6600. And after research, the RX 6600 actually performs better. So we're gonna go with that board I removed from the other one. It's a nice board. And it turned out that Windows was getting the, here's the old case, I'm trashing that. Windows was getting the, was on this thing right here. Yeah, those old SSDs, not the new ones. This one didn't have an SSD installed on it. I'm gonna install that newer one right here on it. Pretty crazy. That's the old power supply. I put the new one in. This one's the EVGA one. But yeah, we're going. The board is in. And we're ready to proceed with the rest of the PC's ready. I just redid the wiring. Came out better this time, believe it or not. It's a little dark, but I just gotta put the glass back on, and we'll see it in the day tomorrow when it lights up, because that's when I'm gonna set up Windows on it and then start the benchmarks and everything. Here it is with the glass on. It's ready to go. Tomorrow we'll do the benchmarks. First boot took a minute to boot up. Press F1. Everything looks good. So I'm gonna run through this setup and then start installing Windows. So I turned on Secure Boot for Windows 11 and then overclocked XMP profile 1 on the RAM so I can get full RAM speed 3200. Next is Windows 11 installation. I got the Windows 11 media plugged in. And everything should go. I was having issues installing Windows 11, so I updated to the current BIOS version 1B1. And let's see if that resolves the issue. It wasn't detecting the SSD. So it's either BIOS update or I have to repartition it. Something. Update. I got the M2 SSD working. It has to go on the lower slots for 10th gen CPU. So this motherboard, the top slot is only for 11th gen CPUs, and it says in the fine print right there at the bottom. Kind of crazy. So everything's going good now. As soon as we get Windows installed, I'll be able to update and then start the next process. We made it to Windows. The build is looking clean. Just gotta do benchmarking and it's ready to go. See, once I got into the operating system on Windows, it had a recommended installer on this one, and I checked off the Norton 360 because it's trash. I don't know what the hell voice mod is, but it sounds self-explanatory, but I don't want it anyway. And the SVGA drivers were already installed, and then I don't use Dropbox, so I didn't want to install that. Everything else sounded like it may need it, so I opted in to install it. Letting that run. So here it is after the update. It has this kind of generic wallpaper about Z790. It's a hustle wallpaper, but this one's a Z590. But I'm gonna restart it. It said to restart the system, and then we'll go from there. So now MSI Center is doing this thing, updating and getting ready for the PC, and then we'll skip all that for now. Try to keep this one as lightweight as possible. It's only an i5. So it's like if you're not going to use any of this stuff, it's better not to even have any of this installed. I don't really like the CPU temperature. That's kind of though it's like an out of the box CPU cooler, so it's nothing upgraded. If it was upgraded, it'd be probably at least 5 degrees Celsius cooler. I'm gonna close that, and then I'm gonna get ready to install Steam and then run a benchmark on it. But once I get it up to date, I still gotta finish getting this thing up to date with Windows, and then get the AMD drivers installed for the graphics, and we'll go from there, or for the GPU, and we'll go from there. So I went to BIOS, and after the Windows 11 finished updating, and then set the XMP profile 1 for the RAM, and here's the CPU. It's an i5 10th gen, and the memory that's running at 3200, 16 gigs. The Samsung half terabyte SSD. We're on Ethernet right now. The integrated graphics is working fine, even though it's not running anything. And the GPU RX 6600. Next we'll be setting up the benchmark software. Well, actually, we're not going to get to that yet. We're going to be doing the AMD Adrenaline software for the GPU, and then the benchmark. Here we go, PC on. Just installed the Adrenaline software. I already installed Steam. You can see Steam here. So I'm going to get the benchmark software up, and then we're going to go ahead and benchmark it, see what numbers we get. And here we are in 3D Mark. As usual, I'm going to run Time Spy, and I'll get back to you with the results. So far, so good. Looks like it's nice and smooth. Everything's running good. We'll see if it completes the test. Get our test results. I'll try to get a quick snippet of every test if I can. Now here it goes with the graphics test. I'm glad the system's running smooth so far. It's running it real smooth. I'm not expecting the best results because of the specs, you know, i5 with a 6600, 16 gigs of RAM, but I'm expecting like good performance for a good starter PC. So, because that's what this is. It's pretty much a someone's starter PC, and it's a really good starter PC in my opinion. They likely can't stream unless they have a streaming PC or maybe capture card they might be able to get away with, but with an i5 it's going to be too much to try to stream. But yeah, let's get the next test. So far, so right, here we go. Graphics test 2. What? All right. Let's see if we can catch. I think the last test, the CPU test, is the next one. We'll try to catch that one next. This last part of the graphics test too was good, especially with the sun in the center with all the light. I think that looked cool, so I wanted to catch it because I didn't want to catch the whole test. It's too long. But yeah, that's a good catch. Here we go with the CPU test. This one's usually pretty quick. Yeah, you can hear the PC kick up too. We're about to find out if things go wrong here. You know what I mean? Because this thing's going to put that CPU through it. Oh yeah, let's see our results. We actually got good results this time. We actually got a score that beats the average. It's not the best because we're not overclocking or anything, but it beats the average of 7884. We got 7983. We got a good score. I like that. I feel good about this one right now. So, well, that's it for this build. I'm not gonna run games on it. Well, I could. I'm probably gonna run something on it, but it just sucks trying to record it because I got a phone to record right now, and I can't really record it for you guys. But I feel like I can trust this benchmark, and it's gonna perform well in games, and I really don't have to spend time gaming on this PC, I don't believe. But I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna keep it with a local account and fully set up, so that way it's plug and play ready for whoever buys it. I think that's the new best option I'm gonna go with. So that way, people when they buy it, they just go home, plug it in. They can sign into their own Microsoft account if they want, but it's ready to go for them. They don't have to go through all the setup, the updating, and making sure they have the right software and everything has the settings correct. Everything's just gonna be ready to go already. If you like my videos, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.